looks like you've made the best of it. Welcome back for another video. I'll tell you what, spring's right around the corner, guys, and I'm starting to think about all the things that I want to accomplish this year. Try to get them out of the way early, a couple of decent sized jobs. And I think this spring I'm going to build a bridge across this water runoff I have here in the yard. And it will make a lot better access over here on this part of the yard for getting the mule across when we want to be out and riding around and things. And I'll tell you, that's a pretty good little gap there. I'm going to stand down here and show you what we've got going on. And I could just level this out a little bit and then run the mule back and forth over it. But our other bridges look so nice here that I wouldn't mind going ahead and building something permanent. And I do have some cedar trees that has fallen due to severe weather we've had this winter. So I won't be wasting trees, it'll just be a better way to utilize them. And now for the mule, I'm going to have to make that probably about 7 feet or so wide, maybe even 8 feet. And probably, I don't know if I want to keep the bridge a little bit lower and get it down into here like this, or actually bring it up some and span that gap there. So that's one of the things I'm going to start thinking about as I look at the various trees that has fallen and material that's already available for me. Now this would, a cedar bridge across this would look nice in the yard, I will say that. And this is also hole number 3 on our golf course, our disc golf course down through here. And we always just walk across the top side of this. But a bridge being across through here would make this hole a little more attractive as well. And I really don't think it'd be too bad of a project other than gathering the material up and getting it ready. And like I said, I already have a lot of that material down back there that I have. There's a few of them I've been saving already, and a few of them that we will have to saw up and trim up to bring in. Let's see, let's take a look at this. Further, obviously, we go up the hill on the other side there. So that gives us into about 12 feet. Across there would make that actually a pretty nice transition on the 2 grades that I am dealing with here. Now obviously the longer we make the bridge, the more poling that we have to lay across it, so that means the more material that we're going to have to use. But if I get down into this area, I could bring the bridge over just a little bit and turn that in this direction. I think that'd look nice down through there. It'd most certainly be fun rolling down off of this part of the yard and being able to roll across the nice, well-built cedar bridge. Now my other bridge that I have back there that you guys have already been seeing on the videos, originally our first side-by-side was a Yamaha Rhino. And it was a little bit narrower, well quite a bit narrower than the Mule is. So I'm actually going to have to add on to that bridge to get that a little bit more comfortable to go across. You really have to watch what we're doing when we're in the Mule, because we've got about 3 inches overlap on either side of it when we're on the bridge. So I'd like to have a little more comfort zone. We'd sure enough have to use the winch to lift the mule up out of the creek if we drop off the edge of that thing. And like I say, this is just simply a runoff, making the transition off of the upper part of the property and behind us here, and making its way down through. And that's never really been an issue, but I would like to make something really nice here that we can utilize. We get over closer to the road there, that grade's considerably deeper. I mean, you know, we're probably dropping out there about close to 10 feet, I would think. It's quite a bit. Back up so you guys can see that view there. And like I said, I do have quite a bit of material down. Several trees that have fallen over the past couple of years that I've been saving for this, because I have been thinking about it. And now that you guys have been watching the videos, you'll get to come along with the journey. Let's go back and see what other material we have available and take a look at our other bridge. See if we can get some ideas. Well, this is one of the smaller bridges. We still got quite a bit of snow on the ground. But anyway, this is one of the smaller bridges. Let me see how wide I actually made that. Yeah, so it's 6 feet. Now the Mule crosses over this one pretty easy simply because it's shorter. This coming year though, this spring, I am going to go ahead and put some laterals across this. This bridge has been here for 15 years. It's done pretty well. I'm going to put some laterals across this though to shore up, because they're starting to, the cedar logs across are starting to work their way up out of the screws that I put in them. So instead of these things just sitting here rolling and turning, I'm just going to go ahead and put some laterals down across it. Now all of my bridges, I put 3 columns across, and those look to me like those are about 9-inch cedar logs laying vertical this direction. And so it's more than capable of holding up the weight. Like I said, if I put some laterals across this, that'll keep these logs from rolling underneath it. So definitely nice way to make a transition over watersheds or anything that you have on your property. And it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get something like this built. Let me show you the bottom side of the bridge. Like I said, more than adequate to hold up the Mule and even a trailer load of wood. So some laterals across that will definitely help the bridge last a few more years and make it enjoyable crossing over this little watershed here. Let's go look at the bigger bridge. Now this is the bridge that we had to come back and drag that stump that had wedged itself up underneath this one. That stump almost took this bridge out. It had just washed itself up enough underneath it to where it couldn't go ahead and travel on past the bridge, and it had enough water pressure behind it to where it was actually starting to lift the bridge up. But anyway, you can see the timbers underneath, and I think what I'm going to do, surely this is the same width. Yeah, this is a 6-foot bridge. I'm going to add another runner across through here, bring it across all the way through here, and probably go ahead and bring the runner up to the top of these logs. And then that way it'll give me an extra foot on each side, and then go ahead and put some laterals across this bridge as well. Like I said, the Mule fits on it, but it just does fit on it. There's a lot of water rolling down the creek today too, due to all the snow melting off. But again, I really think something like that up in the front yard there look really nice. What is this bridge? Okay, so this is a 14-foot bridge here. And that'll give me an idea. I can simply count these out, and that bridge up there is going to be roughly in the neighborhood of 12 feet. But I can count these off and know how many logs I'd actually need to cross over that. And as far as laterals, I'm kind of undecided about that so far. I'm thinking about just pressure treated 2x6s or 2x8s. That gives me a nice 1.5" material that I can run screws down through and fasten pretty easy. Now I can take the time and split some cedar and lay across this and do basically the same thing. But I don't know that I'd have the as a finished result as what I would if I'd actually go ahead and just put some 2x6s across through here. It may look a little better. Let's go and look at the material we've got laying on the ground. That tree right there fell down in an ice storm, and I'm going to take you up there and show you the log I cut out of it. Now that's a perfect example of a tree that was blown over in a storm, and then the limb growing off the side just simply grew straight up into a tree. That tree's been laying and growing like that for over 20 years now. And once the wind pushed it over, the stump never came completely out of the ground. So that still give it enough root system in order for the tree to grow. And like I said, it's 30 feet tall now or better. Eventually we'll have to cut it, but it looks unique enough we'll leave it like it is for a while. And that's the cedar tree that was down by the pond there. Like I said, that's a good 40 feet. So we'll be able to get most of our structure out of that one log there, I would say. I'm going to measure that and see how wide that tree was. Okay, so that's just under 15 inches across. And I guarantee you, I know it's at least 30 feet long. Yeah, so it's just under 40 feet. As you can see back here behind me, we definitely have more trees than we need for material to build with if we need to. Like I said, I've had several trees down for a while. I've been laying back here and waiting. I haven't even cut the tops out of them, as you can see. That'll make a pretty good portion of our planks. And it'd be nice to get these guys cleaned up. And I won't take down any trees I don't have to. The rain does, and once it starts freezing, it makes the tops of those trees so heavy that the root system can't hold it up any longer when the wind starts blowing. And it'll just lay them right over. Now it's nice on one hand because you don't have to deal with the stump. But on the other side of that, like that tree down by the pond, I had actually left that one there. That was part of the landscape, so I had to see that one fall. But we're still going to use it. Now that's another thing too. I do have several of these trees that's growing in amongst the oak trees. And if I do need some more planking, I would prefer to take these down. First of all, when they're grouped this close together, I won't have to be as concerned with the stumps being up and out in the middle of the yard or in the fairway or something. And I can definitely remove these trees out of the way and let the oak trees go ahead and continue to grow. So I would prefer to take down these little spot trees that I have, the cedars, and let the oaks get a little larger. And I think that'd be a better way to go at it rather than just walking through the cedar thicket and laying down trees. It definitely doesn't hurt to thin that kind of stuff out, specifically if you're trying to save the oak trees. So I think that'll be our plan. And I have these things scattered out everywhere. I do like some of the evergreen left out throughout the tree line there. So I won't cut them all, but I will make sure that around nice clusters of some of the larger oak trees, we take some of these out and clean this area up a little bit. Make it look nicer. That cedar thicket there is just perfect habitat for the deer and turkey. They love it. It's just as thick as they can get it. And I mean, you can see on the camera there, you almost have to belly crawl to get through that stuff. But the animals will stay in there as long as they can until I walk back here or drive back here and run them off. Now this area you're looking at down here and over the pond and all the way back to the cedar thicket that we were just looking at, the trees were probably 5 and 6 feet apart. When we pushed in the pond, we did harvest all the trees first and then pushed this pond in. Now the pond, that ended up being around 18 foot deep in its deepest spot, and I did shelf it out so the fish would have nice habitat down there, various depths of water for them to live in. And I gotta say, the fish survived pretty well in there. But back to my point, the cedars was really thick in this area, and they are definitely a tree that will grow any place. You give them just a little bit of time. They grow fast as well. I mean, you know, it doesn't take long for a cedar tree to jump up 5 or 10 feet tall. They probably grow 1.5 feet, 2 feet a year, depending on soil conditions and whatever water source they have available for them. But yeah, like I said, everything behind me here used to be a cedar thicket that we've cleared out. Now one thing about cedar trees, if we do have to harvest a bunch of them for our timbers to cross, we're going to have a lot of brush. That's going to be a pretty good sized brush pile again to burn. I currently have you guys setting on hole number 3's T-pad for the disc golf course, and you can see down through there that makes a nice shot. Wind across, and like I said, the bridge will be right here at the base of the hill. So I think that'd be a great place for one. That is also, by the way, if you can see down through there, the same footage that you was watching all the four-wheel drive action with the mule in the snow. That little hill sitting right down there, and I'll tell you, it's a lot steeper in the vehicle than it is on the camera. Boy, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, cedar trees, you cut down one cedar tree and you can almost bet that's almost a half a trailer load of brush that you have to get rid of. And that ain't no problem. We got a good spot to burn it. So I think that'll look nice. Yeah, that bridge will end up in about this area right here. I think that'd work out pretty good, guys. Most certainly be a fun project for you guys to see. And again, that'll give us access to this part of the yard over here without having too much trouble getting down that water runoff there. So I hope you enjoy the footage. We'll have several videos on it, I'm sure. Now I've been talking about it warming up today, and again, it was frigid cold 3 days ago, and today the sunshine has come out. I'm out here in a single shirt and this light coat, and I'm actually sweating. Once our blood gets used to that colder temperature, and then we get these spikes and it warms up like it has, I mean, you know, your body can't adapt quick enough. It's hot out here now, I hate to say it. I'm enjoying it. But as long as the weather is holding and nothing gets in the way of what we need to do here, we'll make several videos on it. You guys will get to come along for the whole build, and we'll see how nice we can make this thing. So I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.